Goldman Sachs just got caught completely underreporting central bank gold buying by 70%. China's actual holdings are more than double what they disclosed. Putin said it loud. The dollar is being used as a weapon. The dollar's share of global reserves just fell from 72% to 57%. Your purchasing power is now in free fall. Watch this video to position yourself correctly.
Weeks ago, Goldman Sachs discovered their own central bank purchase estimate had been wrong by more than 70% for 8 months. UK trade data had been systematically failing to capture gold leaving London's vaults since August 2025. The buying was happening. The measurement infrastructure was not capturing it. Central banks have been moving metal out of the dollar system in quantities that did not appear in any official data, and the people responsible for measuring it are only now finding out how large the real number is. What they have been accumulating, where it is going, and how it connects to your mortgage rate and your grocery bill is what this video is about. I wish someone had told me this sooner about what the Goldman revision actually revealed, what the PBOC shadow data confirms about the scale of the exit, what the Treasury auction stress data shows about how this reaches your grocery cart and your mortgage rate, and the 3 public documents you can read this week at no cost. The People's Bank of China actually holds approximately 4,309 tons of gold, more than double what Beijing officially discloses. According to independent analyst Jan Nieuwenhuis at Gainesville Coins, using SAFE and PBOC shadow methodology, China's actual monetary gold crossed 5,411 tons in Q3 2025 versus 2,304 tons reported. That is a gap of 3,107 tons, a 135% underreporting. China's buying streak has now run to 18 consecutive months of reported purchases. This is not a statistical rounding error. It is a deliberate multi-year accumulation running outside the official disclosure framework, while the official number is presented to institutions as if it represents reality. Goldman now projects central banks will average 60 tons of gold purchases per month through 2026, roughly 720 tons for the full year. 244 tons of central bank purchases were independently confirmed for Q1 2026 alone, per the World Gold Council, a pace that annualizes above Goldman's projection. Annual central bank purchases have run above 800 tons for 4 consecutive years. Goldman's year-end 2026 gold price target sits at $5,400 per troy ounce. The buying is not limited to China. India's Reserve Bank holds 880.52 tons and repatriated 168 tons in the past year, with 77% of its gold now stored domestically rather than in London or New York vaults. Poland's central bank governor Adam Glapiński confirmed on the record that Poland is targeting 700 tons. Russia holds 2,335 tons. Turkey, Uzbekistan, the pattern across that cluster is physical accumulation, domestic repatriation, and simultaneous reduction of dollar-denominated assets. Vladimir Putin stated at the Kazan BRICS Summit in October 2024, "The dollar is being used as a weapon." That is not rhetoric. That is a policy statement that explains why the accumulation is running simultaneously across that cluster. You have seen the gold price rise and assumed the buyers were institutional traders or inflation hedgers. The buyers are central banks, and they are buying more than disclosed while simultaneously reducing their holdings of the asset the gold is replacing, which is the US Treasury bond. China dropped its Treasury holdings by $77 billion in 12 months. That is Treasury tick data, public, 3. When foreign central banks sell treasuries, demand at auction falls. When demand falls, the government raises yields to attract the next marginal buyer. 4 consecutive 10-year Treasury auctions have printed tails, meaning the yield cleared higher than expected because demand was insufficient.
Hey everyone, real quick, as the dollar falls, I know it sounds crazy, Bitcoin's falling too, but it's not going to be like that forever. So if you want to get positioned in crypto at the right time, links down below to the crypto bundle, the Bitcoin 101 XRP course on all the basics, and then the crypto security course. You're going to walk out feeling like a rock star because you know more than the average crypto investor about how to start your accounts, how to build them, how to trade, how to secure them. And while they're losing money, you're not. Have a great day. Keep on. Let's get back to the video.
When yields rise to compensate for reduced central bank demand, mortgage rates follow the 10-year yield with a 1 to 2 week lag. The purchasing power decay you feel at the grocery store and the mortgage rate you pay are both downstream consequences of the same central bank exit. The dollar's share of global reserves tells you where this is heading. In 2001, the dollar represented 72%. By Q3 2025, that was 56.92%. French Finance Minister Valéry Giscard d'Estaing called the dollar's reserve status the exorbitant privilege, the ability to pay for imports with currency created out of thin air. That privilege is shrinking in real time. Every percentage point of reserve share that leaves the dollar represents billions in demand that will never come back. The 1971 Nixon shock is the historical mirror. Between 1963 and 66, France ran a secret operation called Vide Gousset, empty pockets. France repatriated 3,313 metric tons of gold from New York and London in 44 boat trips and 129 flights. Then in July 1971, French President Georges Pompidou sent a warship to New York Harbor under secret orders. It docked at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, August 15, 1971. Nixon closed the gold window on a Sunday night broadcast. He called it temporary. It became permanent. Gold was $35 per ounce in 1971. It trades above $4,500 today. That is not gold going up. That is the dollar going down. A dollar from 1971 holds less than 16 cents of purchasing power today, per the BLSCPI calculator. France made the same bet in 2025 that it made in 1971. Between July 2025 and January 2026, the Bank of France sold its NY gold. Every ounce of French gold now sits in the Souterrain vault in Paris. Nothing remains in New York. The Bundesbank still holds over 1,000 tons in New York. Pressure is building in Berlin. 3 public documents give you the mechanism the Goldman revision describes, and all 3 are free and updated regularly. The first is the U.S. Treasury TIC monthly table. It publishes foreign holdings of U.S. securities by country every month at treasury.gov. The China line shows how $77 billion disappeared from Treasury holdings. That is the live central bank exit signal, updated monthly by the U.S. government itself. The second is the IMF COFR quarterly report paired with the BOS CPI inflation calculator. COFR publishes the dollar's share of global reserves every quarter. Run the BOS CPI calculator and note what a dollar from 2001 buys today. 2 numbers, the same erosion from 2 angles simultaneously. The central banks did not hold a press conference. They moved their metal into domestic vaults, cut their treasury exposure, and filed no public statement. That is the playbook. Cash loses purchasing power against the mechanism this video described. It has lost 98% against gold across 54 years. Tangible assets are a documented hedge. If you start positioning the way they are positioning, that is a step in the right direction. The window to think clearly is now, before the next revision prints. What a government can reach, it has reached before. International storage exists for that reason. Do not let a policy decision become a rug pull on an asset you built. Watch how the central banks hold their assets, then decide how you hold yours. Stay close to this channel. This is Economic Ninja, and we will be watching it for you. Ninja out.